Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Olympus Lock. This is their part number 777IC-DR-26D. This is a large format, full size, interchangeable core, deadbolt door lock, 1 7/16" cylinder length, 1 1/8" barrel diameter, satin chrome finish. So what is this? This is a door lock is really what it is. It's not going to be for a full-size door. It'll be for casework, some custom woodwork sort of application where you need to have a bolt on a door that's going to be, you know, 1 1/8", 1 1/4", 1 3/8 thickness, whatever it might actually end up being. And you need it to take a Schlage key. And that's what this 777IC is all about. This is for a door application, which to me refers to a door. It's going to be, you know, left or right, in swing or out swing. It'll swing one of 4 ways. What that tells me is that the bolt is going to be on either side. A drawer is probably going to want to have the bolt from the top or the bottom in relationship to where the key cylinder is, or the relationship in which the key is inserted into the core. So when it's a door, I'm thinking the bolt is on one side or the other when it's in the locked or unlocked position. Let's take some basic dimensional properties, then we'll dive into what's included. Overall height of the body, 2 inch. Overall width of the body, looks like it's about 1.5 inches, just shy. Thickness of the body, looks like it's 5/8. Length of the cylinder, body, they say it's 1 7/16. My tape measure's telling me it's about 1 3/8 inches. The diameter, they have it at 1 1/8". Yeah, it looks to be about accurate as well. There's a number of accessories that are included with this. Let's take a look at all of those now. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, so what do you get? Well, you're going to get the body itself. This job happens to have Schlage cores that the client has us providing. So I will demonstrate the core being inserted. All you need is, well, you need the control key to be sure. Each of these cores we've keyed alike with 2 keys. So you've got your, this is happens to be a 23030 C626. Got our control key. It's going to pull the pin back, as you can see. Going to insert that into the body. Okay. The alignment of the driver and the driver on the back of the body and the receiver in the back of the cylinder itself were in alignment. I may have to have rotated that slightly to get the cylinder to go right in. It went in just without any trouble. Okay, I can remove the key in the locked. I have that timed incorrectly. Alright, lesson to be learned. I can't remove it in the opposite function, which tells me we've got the cam not timed correctly. Yeah, so we've got a couple of options there. So that little component of the drive assembly, or throw member is what it might be called, is in the wrong orientation. So I believe it was out this way when we tried it last. A little bit of trial and error here for us. But it's actually good that we're encountering this, because what we need to be able to do is to make sure that this actually works. When we're done. Yeah, okay. So I'm able to rotate that throw member in the back here. If you take note of where it is, I'll rotate that. I can get it to turn all in the opposite direction. So, studying the back of the core tells me that where the pin is, it'll never go in like this. I've got to have one of those bird's mouth prep areas in what would be that upper left-hand quadrant if looking at it from the back side. So I'm going to rotate this right till about there. That may work, so let's give it a try. Close. Yeah. Yep. So I got it aligned correctly to the point where I'm able to get the core all the way in and the control key removed. Now, the trouble is I think I've got the bolt in the same location I was last time. Okay, key is out. Key is out. Worked. So whatever I think what I did was that I was inserting it, I moved the bolt back this direction with my thumb, is what I believe I did. The key to this is, depending on how you time the throw member, if that's what it's called, the component back here, you can make this non-key retaining. Right now, let's say that the door is locked. I can pull that back, and I can pull the key out. Now it's unlocked. It'll stay unlocked. The other way I had it, I couldn't remove the key without relocking it. So you could make it key retaining if you wanted to. I would imagine that there is some language about that in the description of this item, which we're going to take a closer look at in a moment. I'm going to put the core back together, and then we will continue on with our tour of what is included here. You've got to have the control key. Without it, the core will not go in and it will not come out. Okay, so we have our lock body, obviously. It came with this cover over the barrel, and it must just be shipping protection. I can't think of another use for this. There's lots of parts in the box. Maybe it's just to prevent it from being scratched or damaged. You have, speaking of the core, you do have a construction thumb turn. This is what's going to allow you to at least make sure that your installation works. It's a temporary plastic core is really all it is. Okay, that's included. You're going to get a couple of strike plates. I want to take some dimensions. Length, about 2 inch. Width, about 3/4. Thickness, that's the important part, about 1/2 inch. There's a thinner one. Let's assume it's the same width and length. Its thickness looks like it's 1/4 inch. You're going to get some shims. There's 3 of them. They all appear to be the same thickness. Width, it's going to be the same as the body, 1.5 inches by 2. It's the thickness that I'm unsure of, so let's test that. .128. So basically 1/8 of an inch is how thick these shims are, and there's 3 of them. So that will get you to 3/8. Why would you need that? If this cylinder length is too long, what you'll do is you'll put them, rather than insert this, let's say you're doing 3/4 inch, rather than insert this and have that the cylinder body sit out very far from your casework, take your shims and add them as necessary, and then your 3/4 inch material won't look so, the projecting cylinder body won't look so odd on thinner material. So 1 3/8, less 3/8, that's now 1 inch, 1/4 inch, perfect. Now, why the shims? Well, the problem is that core, if you remember, the 23030, they only make it one size, and if you want to have a drawer or a door lock that takes a Schlage key, this length is a hard stop, so to speak. You can't get them any smaller because they don't make the Schlage full-size cores any smaller. That's why the shims are there. And then you'll get a whole mess of screws for attaching the body and the strike plates and things of that nature. Let's switch to the screen view and we'll take a closer look at all the supporting information. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, here's the item that we are looking at. Images. Let's just take a look at some that I have taken here. A variety of images. This is the contents of everything that you get. Thumb turn, strikes, shims, screws, body. That cover is the only thing not pictured. That's what you got to figure out how to get timed properly. And once you get the lock to work correctly, you can remove the core and then study that. One important thing to note here is the lobes are a different diameter. That is always a telltale sign of large format. If these lobe sizes were the same size, it would be small format. Top view, so to speak. Side view. The back side. The shims. The strikes. And your screw package. And your plastic thumb turn. Okay, extended description information. Large format IC core deadbolt door lock, cabinet door lock. Locks are non-handed with key removable in the locked and unlocked position. There you go. Zinc die cast. And they give us the dimensions. 1 7/16, an inch and an eighth. Satin chrome. Included accessories. The actuator to operate lock without core. That's that plastic thumb turn. 3 spacers, 2 strikes. Screw packages as well. When you buy one, we'll ship you one. Let's dive into all of these documents that are here. Catalog page. This is going to be an overview of the 777. This is specifically going to be for Schlage full-size cores. The entire Olympus catalog, which I'll show you in a moment, their cut sheets are all very similar. There'll be some technical drawing aspect to it. Great to make a screen capture of that material. There will always be specifications and options on the right side. There will always be a table showing the item and any variants. Okay. Key retaining, key removable, locked position only. So the 777IC-DR can't be left in key removable only, although if you took the cylinder, the lock apart, you might be able to figure out how they do that. It could just be the way that pieces are timed in the back. Door, KR for key retaining, finishes, and what it will fit. What will fit into it. Standard, classic, Primus or Everest. Anything Schlage full-size interchangeable core is going to fit into this. For Schlage IC only. Accessories, other spacers, other strikes you might need to know about, etc. This is really good stuff. You can easily make a a screen capture of this kind of stuff, and you'll be able to have that data and take it with you, so to speak. Okay, now let's move on to the next document, data sheet. Probably going to be, it's, same stuff, same information, just presented differently. They hand the doors for you. They're assuming the doors swing out, like I had said earlier about drawers, bolts, top or bottom. They're assuming your cabinet doors always swing out. What the safe industry, or what Olympus calls a left hand, we would call a left hand reverse. You just have to know how to speak the proper language. There's also a trim ring referred to here, the TR78. Let's take a look at what a TR78 looks like. There it is. If you need a trim ring for that, they do make one. Okay, I just hopped away from my architectural specifications. If you need to insert language into construction documents that specifically explain what's permissible for use on the job, you would lift all this data that's here. Yeah, interesting. I don't know Olympus to be masters of locksmithing, but this is how they are arriving at 2,000 key changes under a 5-pin system. I'd really like to know how they do that. In a 6-pin system, you can generate, it happens to be 4,096 is the theoretical number. It's 1,024 in a 5-pin system. But these cores, the 23030s that will fit into this, are always going to be 6-pin. If you were going to run 5-pin through it, you would literally be removing parts from it. There is no 7-pin option in Schlage. Okay, let's move on to the installation instructions. Okay, rather generic. I guess the most important thing is to make sure that the key operates the way that you need it to operate. You can install these, and then you might get a call from your client at 5 o'clock on a Friday after you're 45 minutes away in traffic that they can't lock it and get the key out. So make sure it operates the proper function. Showing applications, flush, rabbited, overlay, yeah, lipped overlay they call this. Dimensions of information, parts that we've gone over already. Let's take a look at the key retaining chart. Okay, so it doesn't apply to what we're working on, but nonetheless, it's documentation that applies to the 777. If you have a key retaining, there's key retaining and non-key retaining, and those definitions are self-explanatory. There's a link below this video as seen here to the manufacturer's page, and when you click on that, you can pull up not only all of the Olympus products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to their full product catalog here, the most current one anyway. Well, here's the most current one. We have some older versions as well. 2021 product catalog, we'll have to check that link. Here's a 2019 catalog that works. As I had said earlier about the format of their catalog, like I said, it's laid out pretty similarly. Specs on the right side with options that follows through. The most handy thing for me is the index, because I might say to myself, well, I know I'm looking for small format. Okay, so which is the lock? There it is, small format. Get the point? Those are your pages. Medical, Yale, that would be like the 31 series by Medico. Schlage, Corbin, Russwin. They have cam locks that take, there it is, that take full-size, small format, interchangeable core keys without it being a interchangeable core. Sargent, extreme high-quality equipment from these folks when it comes to all things drawer lock related. Let's add on to that and at the same time wrap up this video on camera. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. So, really high quality material from Olympus, and they are a sterling example of everything that's right in our industry in terms of value, having inventory available, prompt, predictable, reliable shipping, and exceptional tech support. Every single time that I've reached out to the factory for assistance, clarification on something, without fault, they've given me a complete and correct answer. You know, their product line, when you study it, or I guess if you end up needing to flip the pages, or in this day and age scroll through the pages, you're going to learn a lot about what Olympus does, in fact, and you'll become familiar with the layout of the catalog to a point where you won't really need to call them anymore once you study how it all works. But if there is a question, you can rely on Olympus to give you that prompt, full, correct, predictable, reliable answer. They're not the only people who manufacture high-quality cam locks. There are certainly others. But if there's really one source that you would like to work with, I would absolutely tell you that Olympus is going to be hard to beat on all of those fronts. The one that we sell the most of is well, locks like this that are going to take a full-size key. I had a client actually call me from the National Park Service. So if you do dive into the world of cabinet drawer locks, feel free to review their catalog. But the National Park Service story was they had cam locks, and the application was they were always breaking the keys. I was able to get them into an Olympus product that gave them a cam lock with a much heavier standard key. So the footprint of a cam lock with the more durable full-size key, which happened to be one of those small format keys that were conventional core, meaning not interchangeable. Any questions on the 777 door, deadbolt, or any other Olympus product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.